I'm gonna do this. I see gym bros doing this. You know? Can it work?
Okay, sure. Should I put mine on the front brim of my hat? So, this is the behind-the-scenes directorial cut of Stirring the Pot, which was our second 48-hour film festival, which we did 2 weeks after our first 48.
I'm Tristan Hernandez.
I'm Gaelan Beatty. Welcome to the behind the scenes. I forgot about the fireworks. Amazing. So you signed us up for this 48 before we'd even done the first 48.
Yes. So I saw, I think it was end of August, that the No Sleep Till Film Festival was coming on. So I signed us up, and I remember texting Gaelan going, "We're doing this." And then I think 2 weeks after that, I think it was halfway through September, I texted Gaelan again, and I was like, I signed us up for 48-hour film project, Toronto. And all I got back was, why?
Why?
It's
We
like,
haven't even done one
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't even done one. And the best thing was, it was what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks apart?
Literally 2 weeks apart.
2 weeks apart. So 1 week of rest in between. No, 1 weekend of rest in between, I guess.
Yeah.
This one was fun. This one was definitely different from the other one, just because it's a little bit more structured. You go in, you get the prompt with a bunch of people. They like give you all this information. There's a lot more paperwork. You have to kind of figure out your genre and all this stuff there. Like, you pull from a hat, and they give you a genre that you have to stick to. They give 2 genres
You can pick.
that you can pick or blend the 2.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a character name and their occupation, and then they give you a line that has to be said the way that it's written.
Yeah.
And
And a prop.
a prop. And so for this one was Kai Lee was the character name, and was a professional chef.
Yes, and in the short, it had to be indicated that that was their
Yes.
job.
Yeah, either said or shown.
Mm-hmm.
And then
The postcard was the prop.
postcard was the prop, and who knew
Well, who knew?
was the line. And the genres that we got, I think I actually have it over there. It was buddy or food film.
Buddy film or food film.
So very interesting.
And we're slightly more prepared this time.
Kind of.
In that...
I wouldn't say so.
Well, no, but in that you clocked that having a location rented in advance would be a real good idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that one. Yes.
But that's also where we fell into the trap of pre-planning.
A little bit.
Because the whole spirit of the 48 is not to pre-plan anything.
Yes, not
I
to
know
have
that there
anything.
are a lot of people out there who do pre-plan, who have a script that they
Cheaters.
that they adjust to fit the genre that they're in, where they shoehorn their character in.
Yeah.
That they have a concept that they want to do, and they have places rented, gear rented, actors prepared, everything. But the spirit of the festival is to do it all from 7 p.m. on Friday.
Yeah.
So we had rented a space that happened to have, it was the...
So the space that I rented was the party room of our friend Mark Allen's building. And it had a kitchen, it had pool tables, it had like a bar kind of set up in the middle of this place.
Like a
conference center.
Like an outdoor deck-ish place too.
Like a big TV thing with a couch that you could like play. So I was like, this place, there's a little courtyard that was just off the back of it. So I was like, this place, no matter what we get, there's enough there that we could shoot something, and then our apartments and all that stuff if we needed to.
We'd already started thinking of like, well, it has a pool table. Like, how cool to do a short around people playing pool. Yeah. And like have the conversation be around them sinking balls, and like how cool that would be. And then when we got the prompt, it was like, oh, let's throw that out and let's actually create
Yeah.
something cool.
Well, I think the other thing that was like kind of going back with what you were saying is you have no time. There's nothing to plan.
Yeah.
And God love them, but you kind of have to let the rental places know what gear you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So me being me, I didn't rent a lot. With the first one that we did, I rented too much.
Yep.
And we didn't use anything.
Stuff that did not come out
I
of the
think
trunk.
we used maybe the batteries. That was it. But I'm pretty sure there was like $500 worth of gear that I rented because I didn't know what we needed. So I rented everything that I thought we would need for like a video village and all this stuff.
Lights and
blah,
C-stands
blah,
and a
blah.
monitor.
And we didn't use any of it.
Yeah.
So this time I just kind of went, do you know what? We got enough. And I think I'm just going to rent a few stands just in case.
And the light? Did we rent a light?
No, we didn't.
Oh.
We didn't rent a light.
Wow.
So there wasn't that much that I rented this time, but we rented enough, like extra batteries for the monitors and some V mounts and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was also another thing of being like, we're going to spend more money on location and like, figure out how to do that.
And then when we got the prompt that was the genre of food film, and we had rented a
place
party
with a
room
kitchen.
with an industrial kitchen in it,
It was like gold.
we were like,
Struck gold.
easy.
Well, that was really crazy. So Stefan and I, one of our producers, we went because two people were only allowed to go to get the prompt because you had to go to location to get the prompt with everybody, and so because I was team lead, I had to go, and then Stefan drove me, and everyone else, Gaelan, Kate, Sarah, were already here. And
Was Mark? Did Mark come too?
No, Mark didn't come.
He wasn't.
And Shar wasn't part of it either.
Right.
So they weren't. So it was just the three of them. They were already here, and so whenever we got something, like when we got our genre first, right away Stefan texted Sarah, and Sarah relayed the message to everyone, or we texted in the group chat,
And we
everyone saw
started
it.
thinking.
And that's when Charlotte and Mark were part of the group chat, so they were also brainstorming, but they weren't part of the writing session. So trying to figure out all that kind of stuff and doing it apart. And so by the time that like we got everything and we relayed the message of what the character was, what the line was, what everything was, there was like still a 25-minute drive for Stefan and I to get to where I live. So by the time that we got back, you guys already had a plan in your head
And you guys did too.
And we had a plan in our head of like what we thought could be a good topic or thing to shoot. And I'm just going to say this right now. We didn't do either of them.
No.
At all.
No.
Yeah. So
No, we did the same thing we did in the last one, which was we set aside 2 hours to brainstorm.
yeah.
Everyone come up with ideas. We wrote them down on the.
We got pad thai and
Yeah.
we just crushed it.
But like honestly, we had a professional chef named
Yeah.
Kylie. It was a food film. We had already rented an industrial kitchen. We were like so far ahead before we'd even gotten out of the gate.
Yes, but here's where the kicker is every single thing that we had for an idea had something to do with food. And one of the topics that we almost shot this. It wasn't until, I think it was either Kate or Sarah. I think it was Kate, but it could have been Sarah. One of our wives. Full on went, okay, but who knows how to properly chop things? Because one of the ideas was like a sister that was a professional chef and like all this kind of stuff.
Who was
And
cooking for a date?
cooking for a
that was
date,
going
or
really badly.
that was one of the things. Or
That
the
was
other
a
one was
great
the
idea.
sisters going with the father who left the shop, and
Yes.
one was a chef and came back, and then they were going to make a meal, the same meal that their dad prepped for them and stuff like that.
It would have involved a lot of really beautiful close-up shots
Yeah.
of like professional level
Quick
chopping
cuts and transitions and all that kind of stuff. And it would have been beautiful, but right when that was said, we all just went, yeah, we can't do this.
Yeah, none of us have that expertise.
Yeah, we can't do this.
And then I think I had the again, I think I had the original idea that other people took and made so much better, which was I did a lot of research when you were driving on what a buddy film was.
Yeah.
And like specifically, it's two characters who don't belong together, but find out through the course of the film that they need each other.
Yeah.
Is the base idea of a buddy film. And so I had this concept of two different foods in the kitchen that would go awful together, that just should never live together, end up in a dish and they complement each other really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was really set on that. And then through the course of the writing, everybody else had way better ideas, which is how we ended up with what we did end up with, which is Salt and Pepper.
Yeah. Sal and Pep.
Who are Sal and Pep, who don't get along, but really do belong together. And it was such a better concept because Salt and Pepper are already two characters in all of our heads. They're two characters,
main ingredients,
who are always
main
together.
Seasons. One of the craziest things about a 48 is every single one of our team is a performer. We love acting. I've been doing more delegating behind the scenes as like the director and DOP and editor, but there's no egos in our team. So when this happens, we all go, who would be best suited for this part? It's never like, I want to be the actor, and we like figure out how we're going to make that person the lead. So it's really cool to just write a part and then figure out of the group who suits that character the best.
Yeah, we all look around and we go, well, Mark has to be Pep.
Yeah.
Like, he has to.
Yeah, and like Sarah had to be Cayenne.
For sure.
And so I think that's a really beautiful thing because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to write. So throwing your ego out the door and just being a team player, and you're going to be doing something of everything on these kinds of shoots. It's a beautiful thing.
It is, and I don't think it's particularly normal. I think the way that we shoot, having a crew that is all performers who are willing to fill in any aspect, I think is different. I think a lot of people approach a 48 and go, okay, here's the writing crew, it's 4 people. Here's the DOP and the director. Here are the 7 actors that we're going to use. They're not part of the writing process. They'll show up on the day and we'll tell them what to do. And I think the way that we do it is so much more fun and so much more rewarding. And I think, and you end up, I'm not going to say a better product, but I think you end up with a product that I had a blast making and that I'm proud of.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I wouldn't use better. Anyways.
I'll let other people, that's for other people to tell me. We also had to show Toronto specific things.
Yeah, a Toronto landmark.
We did the streetcar.
We did the streetcar. Sorry, I have to pause it right away. This was the first shot of the day, okay?
Bright and early.
Poor Charlotte, who was our Kylie. So right where we are, right where she passes, is the streetcar stop. And we were waiting for a streetcar. And so many people, because we had a huge rig,
big camera,
and some interesting characters would just come up and just be like, so what you guys do? Got me on TV? What's going on?
So many people wanted to be on TV.
It was so good. We're like, I wish you were the lead of this.
I'll follow you around with the camera for sure.
100%.
And like shooting very specifically to keep Char's face out.
Yeah, that was a huge thing. Not making her the subject that we want.
But like it still feels like she's the protagonist, right? Because it's all her.
But we wanted to follow the bag.
Yeah.
That was the main thing.
your little shakers.
Hiding in the
little egg.
shakers for salt and pepper.
I did not even think
Have
about
you
that.
seen the
It's
menu for
perfect.
tonight?
I don't need to look. I know I'm good.
I think you might want to.
Why?
They aren't doing a pasta.
What do you mean they're not doing a pasta? They always do a pasta.
Did I stutter? They're not doing a pasta. I heard a rumor that it's a soup dinner.
And that's the reveal of our potatoes. But how long into it is that?
There's always salt in soup.
That's over 1 minute and 15 seconds into a 6-minute short before we
Yeah.
meet our protagonist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
So much establishing, so much setting tone,
Yeah.
really letting the music come in and feel it.
One thing that was hard about this too was all these vegetables in the background are all had to be set perfectly because we were changing camera angle, and you'll see later on that some of them get picked up. So we had to do those shots multiple times, and we had to make sure that everything was set up properly the same way.
Hiding spike tape.
Yeah, which was it was a really fun thing because Gaelan and I had a few arguments on set, but there was no talking. We didn't have anyone talking out the script. We literally just kind of let the camera roll and then told Charlotte what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the acting was just Charlotte and just making sure we had enough of every single clip that we had.
Because we did have the script.
We had the script.
The script was there, but
I don't think we paced it.
no.
No.
Okay, well, there's always salt in soup. Where'd you hear the rumor?
God, the reflections in
It was
the
a
table.
leak.
Best joke.
Best joke.
Best
It was
joke.
a leak.
Honey, you were right. That bath was nice.
Those potatoes. Also,
They
is that
also doing a little massage.
is that phallic? Is that on
Oh,
purpose?
yes. The massage.
I found it cold, though.
Ugh, it's always something with you.
All I said is it was cold. Where's the hot tub? Nordic spa style.
After the garlic's chopped.
What?
The rack focus took so long.
Stay in your lane, soul.
And like multiples. We're doing it from the side
Woo,
too.
Phase two.
Okay, so the best thing about this, poor Charlotte. Oh my lord. So we had everything figured out, but we didn't have a monitor for her to watch. So we made her put down the potatoes, make her figure out where her hands were. And then we said, okay, release your hands until they're out of frame, and then put them back. So she was very just like so gentle to do it, because she was like, I don't want to miss the mark. But
All the rack focuses,
rack focuses took so long.
all of the super subtle shifting of the salt and pepper
Yep.
for them to
To
be
reveal.
apart so that we could have them in foreground when we would rack to the potatoes.
Yep.
It was so much fun to shoot this scene as if they were people.
Yeah.
To like have an over-the-shoulder shot of a salt shaker.
Yeah. It was also really cool to be like, okay, we're gonna probably get a master, and then we're probably gonna get dirties of each, which is hysterical to say.
Yeah,
But then individual shots. So if you think about it, there's only 6 or 7 shots that we can actually do. That's
we did them all.
what it is. But we had to do them in a way so that we made sure that Charlotte was doing the same thing in the background if she was seen. Figuring out the rack focusing if we needed rack focus stuff for the potatoes and all that stuff.
Also the classic of like starting on a wide and then as the conversation progresses you get tighter in. Okay, balloons. Oh god. Oh god. Terrifying.
Wasn't us.
Didn't do it. So yeah, getting like closer in on each shot and then finding where in the conversation it
Yeah.
actually wants to pop back out to a wide
Yeah.
from a different angle.
Yeah.
And like I haven't shot a lot of conversational stuff before. Like
Yeah.
most of the shorts that I've worked on, like Mondays,
Yeah.
that we'll talk about later, like it's no dialogue.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the visual aspect of film and the storytelling that we can do without dialogue. So this was my first time really shooting
He's a photographer.
I'm a photographer, so that's kind of how I approach a lot of my work, right? But shooting conversations,
Yeah.
which is so integral to most filmmaking, but it was really fun to be able to do it with seasonings and vegetables.
Yeah. Well, another thing was like trying to make it look so crisp.
Yeah.
Like trying not to dirty the frame too much.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make it like you were shooting people.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing is, as you can see, there's a lot of reflections going on.
Oh my God.
So we had to set the lights proper.
The
We had
table
to
is
figure
so
out
reflective.
the table. We had to make sure that like the boom wasn't in the right spot, because even though we were shooting it like this and we didn't have a lot of dialogue going on because we weren't going, Charlotte was still making noise in the background, and I wanted to
catch
make
that.
sure that I was catching it.
The potatoes landing is a sound that we
Landing,
wanted.
the potatoes, the potatoes.
The little
he
water
picked up.
droplets get left
Yep.
on the table.
Yeah,
So it's so fun.
So many things that you don't think about until you get there.
And recording the ADR of the potatoes, where the three potatoes are three distinctly separate characters.
Yep.
Having one conversation.
Yeah.
And so recording the three of you guys together
Yeah.
at the same time to keep the spontaneity of it too.
Well, I think another thing that really made this work was we did all the ADR after we shot everything. So we did it in the actual location.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to get added room tone to change our voices. It was literally just a boom mic set up in the room with us. Now, I don't even think it was pointed at us. Like, it was just like, well, it was. But it was
tilted there.
It was tilted so that we were kind of getting the reverberance off of the counter.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. It was nuts.
That's so fun though.
Word around the kitchen is that tonight's meal's looking pretty spicy.
God, here we go again. You always think you're going to be the star of the show.
Not always.
There's so
I
little
just know
movement,
tonight's
right?
meal
Because
is
there's
based
no
around
movement.
Me. And they're going to be using some heaping helpings.
That's phallic.
And the potatoes are
And
back.
now we just sit
that's,
here.
That's a butt.
That's bad.
Take it?
Yeah.
But
I heard this is what they do here. Tots to the wind.
Hey, you two. Stop looking at my patatas.
I just feel so free.
We recorded 5 jokes.
This is
That's what we chose.
amazing.
Cayenne?
God, what are you doing here?
I'm bringing spice to the table.
What?
What?
What do you mean you're bringing spice to the table? I'm
Nothing's
bringing the
moving.
spice.
But you're editing, you're moving the camera, and the camera's not moving. You're cutting in such a way to keep everything so alive. Like, I personally watching this, I forget that they're things.
yeah, and they don't
that
have
aren't-
mouths.
They don't have mouths. How are they talking?
Yeah.
I forget that because the way that you've chosen to edit the back and forths, the quick cuts,
Yeah.
or the threesome, or the twos, like, it's still so alive,
Yeah.
which I think is, I think it's really cool. And also having the reflections on the bottom is like
Well,
so much depth.
I think one of the craziest things was, so this one was a little bit different than Seasons. So much different. So when we got to editing, because I'm crazy in the sense of like, I'm the only one on the team that knows how to do a proper edit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like everyone knows how to edit, but in this style,
And
like
in the suite that we're using,
in
and
the
at the
suite,
speed
and
that
at
it
the
needs to
speed
be
that it
done.
needs to be done. I have the seniority on all of that, so I get to do all of that, which is amazing because I love doing it. But this time, Gaelan was with me for the editing.
Yeah, because I stayed over because I didn't want to miss
And-
FOMO.
What happened was, first thing I did, go into the audio software and upload all the audio. And I remember Gaelan looking at me going, but don't we have to do the video?
Like, we have
and
to
I
do the
went,
video.
no, we have to do this because there's no voices, there's no faces to match it with. So I had to do it like a radio play.
Mm-hmm.
We had to figure out pacing. We had to do all that before I could add any of the images and any of the cuts and figure out how we're going to do it. all the timing, all that stuff had to go with the way that we did the audio, which made it so much harder, but also easier.
Well, yeah, because it's like when we do other shorts, like a lot of the shorts that we do, like we either spec ads or other things, like when I brought Mondays to the table.
Yeah.
It was the song.
Yeah.
I brought the song and I said, here's a concept I'd like to do, and so then we cut to the song.
Yeah.
So it's the same idea on this. Instead of cutting to a song, we're cutting to the audio, which is the song of the short, which is great.
And then, of course, with that one, we had to change the song. So, actually, speaking of songs, with this one, so I composed the song also, because again,
On the Sunday, because we had time.
Which is crazy to actually have time for 48, because we did the whole edit without color grade.
Before we went to sleep.
Before we went to sleep, I think we slept at 5. I think we went to bed at 5.
Yeah.
On the Saturday.
And we had 3 hours,
Sunday morning.
4 hours
Yeah,
of sleep?
maybe 4 hours of sleep. Because I think we woke up at like 8
Yeah.
and started editing again. Watching it back and going, what did we miss?
Why did we do that at 4:30 a.m.? Yeah.
But when I came up with the song, I kind of was like, when we were shooting, Mark kept on singing, "Oh, it's Salt and Pepper here." And so that was stuck in my head. And so I was playing the bass line of Salt and Pepper, Push It.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
And then I was like, how can I manipulate this bass line to change it up into a completely different vibe and make it more cinematic, I guess, and more story-driven for a narrative. And then I added in shakers because it's Salt and Pepper. And doing that kind of, I think it flows. Yeah, it flows the song. It flows the whole story. It adds to it so much.
Because bum,
bum.
that
Yeah.
is Salt and Pepper, but then you
But I
adjusted
manipulated
and
it.
changed it.
Yeah, to
be
like match the
something
style that we were
something
doing.
cuter, something a little bit like closer to cartoon.
Yeah,
which is
like
cool.
a buddy film.
Like a buddy film.
Oh, it wasn't our prompt or anything.
Table spices? Table spices? You're nothing more than a dried up nightshade!
Don't even call her that. It makes her sound even cooler.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. Damn it.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, one thing that was so much fun doing when we were writing was you, Stefan, and I, and Sarah, literally, because Kate was gone by that point.
Yeah, she went to
After we came up with the whole concept, she left after we were like, sweet, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
You guys write. So the 4 of us had our phones out and we're looking up like what Salt and Pepper does to people.
yeah.
And what cayenne pepper is, and like different things, so we could throw in jokes and throw in different things and arguments.
Yeah.
And it was hysterical because we were like, while we were writing,
Like a nightshade? That sounds so cool.
yeah. And it was like the way that we were like insulting one another of the characters. It was great. And we're like, but what if we did like hypertension or like,
Yeah.
and actually did something that results to Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my spiel.
This was gonna be my shot. My meal. I was gonna be a star.
Yeah, Mark Allen making a meal out of that.
You distracted me.
Me?
Yeah, you.
What did I do?
So now the
You were
vegetables are
talking about
disappearing.
Salty soups.
You were too busy gloating about your star turn.
So we had to make
You're
sure that
so useless.
as we were getting
I
specific
make things
coverage
taste
for the
good.
vegetables to
You
be disappearing
give people
from.
heartburn.
At least I don't make people retain water.
Hey, all you do is make people sneeze.
Oh, you salty bitch. You give people hypertension. What am I gonna do?
Oh, so this right here, this whole entire thing, absolutely crazy. So I have a probe lens.
Yes.
The Laowa 24mm Cine. And Gaelan had a great idea of when they actually get into this argument, to use the probe lens to make them look like actual live characters.
Like really get
Like,
to it.
really get into it. And so we dirtied up the frame, did an over-the-shoulder shot. Well, it's more like a cowboy shot, I guess.
And we
But
had to put so much light,
we had
onto
4
these.
lights going.
and
This
like
is 4 lights.
just barely out of frame above.
Yeah,
We had to get the light so close.
because that was the thing, is right when we changed angles and we were getting closer, like you can even see the softbox. Like you can see it
hopefully indistinctly.
indistinctly. I can see it, but that's me. But like there's so many things that you have to think about with reflections. So, anyways,
What am I gonna do?
Our whole purpose is to be used. The whole point is to become part of a
yes,
meal.
it is
You
moving.
think I don't know that? You think I don't want to be used?
Okay, she's finishing up. What are we gonna do?
Well, we have to do something. She's gonna forget us.
Come here.
What?
Come here.
So fast.
I'm trying.
Look, you've got to tip over. If you spill, she'll have to pick you up and throw some of you over her shoulder. And then she'll remember to use you in the soup.
This is one of those moments though where I'm like, as we're doing this, at this point I think it's just me and you in the room.
Yeah.
Everyone else is chilling in the larger
Well,
area
no one-
outside 'cause
no
there's
one-
no room.
There wasn't even. It wasn't even the room. It was. You would see. If someone was in the room.
Yeah, because of all the reflections.
Like there's a few shots that we couldn't even use because you could see a hand or like a head in the lighting. And
So it literally was like press record, and then I with a little green stick, like a little stick that we
Yeah.
had painter's tape around, would duck
be-
behind it
yeah,
and then just
and then just move it. It was
Move it
taped
around.
right underneath the handle too, so
tip it a little
so
bit.
you could tip it a bit, and then I would duck down. I wasn't even seeing what I was shooting. I would just press record,
would just
and
hope for the
Gaelan and
best.
I would be sitting underneath the
table.
lights, so we weren't getting caught.
What about you?
It's not always about me.
Great line.
Okay.
I fought for that shot.
You did.
I fought for that shot. I wanted the interrupted scream. Because the difference between when you're shooting underneath with the probe and they're so big and the shot is just them, and for the time when we're in this conversation, their whole world is them.
Yeah.
And they rule their whole world. It's all about them. And then it gets the stakes get really high. They're
Yeah.
stressed. And then when he finally does manage to tip over, you go back to it's salt and pepper.
Yeah.
And hopefully you've forgotten that by this point. And that took so long to edit because I
Well-
had tipped it over with a green stick from above
Yeah.
and pulled the stick out. And you had to mask out the stick on its exit.
So right here, right there, I have to mask out and green screen out this. I think it was a chopstick with green painter's
And
tape.
it wasn't even like it was more about the reflection in the appliances than it was the actual stick getting green screened
Yeah.
out. And then Shar would turn and her white coat would mix into that reflection.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was infuriating.
Yeah, but I mean, we got it. It's pretty seamless.
It looks really slick.
Pretty seamless.
Right. What about you?
It's not always about me. Okay.
Yeah, you can't see it at all.
Don't forget about Pepper. And she doesn't.
And she comes back. There
we go.
And the beautiful soup that Sarah made.
Yes. So
Delicious.
so the best thing about this, I mean, we should have probably stirred it, but after we shot just the salt and pepper parts, and we got to the shot, Sarah, we took a break. Everyone had a dinner break, and then Sarah made potato leek soup
Out of the ingredients
out
that
of
we
the
bought.
ingredients that we bought. She made a soup in the kitchen, and then we put it into the shot, and this is what it is. But by the time that we got to this part, I think this is like the 4th or 6th take. So we should have stirred the soup every single time.
Yeah.
Because it just looks
There's a lot of
congealed.
Oh yeah, it had skin on the
It
top.
had skin on top.
Thanks, Sal.
1 month later. So, can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
So, if we remember, the prompts we were given is we had to have a Toronto-specific landmark, which
Yep.
we did in the very first opening second of the short. We
Yep.
had the TTC. We needed to have, it needed to be a buddy film / food film. We chose to do both because it just worked out so well to be able
Yep.
to do both. We needed to have a prop, which was a postcard, which we haven't seen, and we are almost done. We needed to have Kylie, the professional chef, and we had to know that their name was Kylie and that they were professional chef. We still don't.
And we have to have the line.
And we have to have the line,
Well,
which
who knew?
we have not had. So we're
So-
now into the last, 45 seconds.
Yeah,
of
and
the
all we've
short.
done was the genre
And we've done genre and the TTC.
the TTC. That's it. There's a postcard.
And if you look real close, it says,
Here, I'll pause it.
Kylie, professional chef, kitchen, Toronto, Ontario. It's right here. It's the prop we have. Thanks for bringing us together. Love, S&P. And that was created by our amazing team on site as we were filming. Sarah and Shar and Kate
And
Stefan
and Mark.
and Mark.
It was Mark's.
Because it was Mark's actual.
It was Mark's
beautiful
actual postcard that we taped to the back.
So everybody came together and made this beautiful prop,
Absolutely insane.
which gets Kylie, which gets professional chef, and which prompts her to say something special.
Well, who knew?
Well, who knew? So we got everything that we needed to get in. We got in the last 10 seconds
Yeah.
of the short, other than the TTC.
But I mean, it was yeah. It was a blast to shoot.
God, that was such a fun.
It was a
shoot
blast.
to do.
I still remember there was one section. So we're on break because we needed one. Everyone else was on break already.
Because we
But
shot all day.
Gaelan and I were having a conversation of that we didn't have a certain shot. And I was saying we don't need that shot because we had this shot. And Gaelan was saying, no, we need this shot so we can do the switch to the next shot. And it's hard to think about because all you have is a script. We don't have a team member that's doing a storyboard for us or a shot list for us or anything like that. So the shot list's kind of in my head.
Yeah.
And we're going, I'll jot down probably the size just in case we have to switch lenses and stuff. And so we're shooting out of order and we're shooting everything that we need to. But it's hard because we're going through the script, the both of us on break. And I just remember having this argument.
Circular argument.
And we're both saying the exact same thing, but we didn't hear it that way. And it wasn't until Sarah and Stefan just kind of went, okay, what's the problem? I think you guys are saying the same thing. And we both went, no.
And then we ate
No
food.
way. And then we
became
ate
humans
food.
again.
And then all of a sudden,
It all made sense.
Gaelan and I went back to the conversation after we ate. And we both went, yeah, we're both saying the same thing.
It's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. And we already had that shot. Yeah.
It's the same.
Cool.
So fuel yourselves.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Oh man.
Having the producers on site to bring in
Yeah.
snacks to
Have
make sure
craft.
that you're taking breaks. Crafty's so important
Craft services.
because you need your brain to be functioning
Yeah.
at a high level. One also really great thing about shooting the way that we did and using inanimate objects was we had a script, but then we were able to have wild, free joke lines.
Yeah.
So we got 5 versions of the looking at
Yeah.
my patatas joke, and we just chose the best one.
Yeah.
And people were able to have fun and like be part of the creation process by improving their lines a little bit.
Yeah, especially because like we didn't have anybody reading the script while we were shooting. We were actually in the background going, okay, Shar, how about you turn over your left shoulder and slowly pick up the leak. That's literally what we were doing. So we just made sure that we had about, I think roughly like...
Oh, is this my thumb down? Sorry.
Jesus. But yeah, no, so we didn't have anyone reading the script. So when it came down to it, we just had to make sure that we had about 45 seconds to a minute of every single shot.
Every shot.
But that also meant that we had to have the exact same choreo that Charlotte was doing.
Yeah.
Replacing everything. So it's all this like little minuscule things that you don't think about until you start doing it and you go, oh wow, that's a lot.
And knowing that we had vegetables disappearing
Yeah.
was
We had to plan for it.
making sure that once we got to that point in the shoot that we had 45 seconds of this shot with the tomato and 45 seconds with the shot without the tomato behind it.
Well, I think the crazier one was the potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Because the potatoes they have to be skinned at a certain point. So we had to make sure that we shot every single shot with the potatoes, with the proper rack focus, because we wanted rack focus at a certain point.
To make sure you could differentiate the potatoes.
Who's talking and all that stuff. But we had to make sure that we got all those shots and we were locked in that we had those shots before it got taken away because we didn't want to switch out what the potatoes looked like.
They had to be the same potatoes.
So it was, that was a difficult one of being like, are you sure we should move on?
That's stressful because you're like, do we have the coverage? Do we have it?
It's like, I just remember Sarah with a peeler being like, are you sure? You good?
I love those moments though, because like, and also the stress of Shar putting down the potatoes with the butt crack facing forward, exactly in between the two salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah, and also when we were shooting and all like the vegetables are getting taken away, trying to shoot at angles because we had spike tape.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had to
Marking the
place them down in the same order and taking them away in the same order and putting them in the same spots. So we had to make sure that they were blurred out enough that we couldn't see
the spike tape,
on a reflective surface.
Everything
Shooting reflectiveness.
Everything in that kitchen was reflective. The stars were reflective. All the appliances were reflective. The table
stars.
we were on were reflective.
I was
Everything.
like, we didn't shoot at night.
The salt and the pepper.
Yeah. Sal and Pep.
Sal and Pep.
Sal and Pep. We hope that you go and watch Stirring the Pot and enjoy it as much as we enjoyed shooting it.
Yeah.
And we enjoy watching it.
And like before, if you have any questions about shooting in a 48, about what the process is, or about the film in particular, please just let us know down in the comments. Side note that we did win Spirit of the Festival for this short.
Yes, we won the Spirit Award for this short, and we got 3rd place for writing and 2nd place for genre, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Being able to go to the best of your first time doing it for the 48 hour film projects for Toronto was it was a great experience.
Cool.
It was a great experience. Like and subscribe and
Comment below.
have a good day.
Fireworks. I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't know why it happened.